Can you explain how Resortecs works? It's very cool.
So what we do, we develop techniques, so stitching threads, but we're also working on rivets now, so the metal things you have in your jacket. And we make them dismantleable by using heat. So we heat dissolve stitching threads, and we heat dismantle rivets. And that allows you to manufacture textile products or garments like you would normally do. But afterwards to take those apart and separate multi-material products. So zippers, buttons that complicate recycling can be eliminated really easily without a lot of manual work. And so it's a cost-efficient process.
Very cool. Now, you all won the H&M Global Change Award 2 years ago.
Yes, we did.
How did that help your business?
Well, it helped a lot, the business. It's one of those awards or those associations that are out there that put you in touch with a lot of people, give you grants to develop your product, and that has a network that is just mind-blowing. Yes.
But you all still consider yourselves a startup?
Yes, we are a startup. Yeah, for sure.
So what do you need to scale up?
Money.
Money, 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 money.
Yeah. So we're fundraising now because one of the things we are working on, of course, are those stitching threads. Another thing is the dismantling tools. So we're working on an oven in which we want to process 500 kilograms, so it's around 1,500 garments per hour.
Wow.
So that we can really process the large volumes directly at industrial scale. And this requires some investment.
Exactly. Now, why is circularity so important in your opinion, and how does Resortecs fit into the puzzle?
The circularity is really important for multiple things. Well, the first, of course, is the impact, trying to reduce the environmental impact. Another thing is as well thinking ahead, knowing the growth that we have in population, the growing demand for mass market products with the growing middle class, especially in the East. If you want to have a sourcing that works and we continue to produce, but in a responsible way, we need techniques that are helping you to get back materials that are not in use anymore.
Right, and zero waste is just better business, isn't it?
Yes, of course. So it's reducing cost and reducing impact again. So it's trying to couple those two.
I feel like the idea of economies of scale, which has been such a backbone to production for centuries, it's actually being proven that it was not just wrong-headed, and has a lot of impact, but actually is bad business. It seemed like good business, but it's really bad business. When we were talking earlier with the minister about waste and unsold goods being destroyed, it's like, how can you be actually running a really tight ship as a business if you're destroying €1 billion worth of goods in one country every year, unsold? If you're not selling that many goods, that's not good business. So at least you all have come up with a solution. And your solution is for things like unsold clothes, but also used clothes, correct?
Yes, but we will start with mainly post-production or pre-consumer, so everything that's unsold returned goods, because they are in a forward logistics systems that is controllable. And then we will go to post-consumer step by step by using tracing technology and by having also legislation that is changing, because there are some legal issues with post-consumer goods as well if you want to reuse them in new production.
But part of the law that Madame la Ministre just talked about, where companies aren't allowed to destroy those clothes anymore, Resortecs is offering them a solution.
Yes, we do, on multiple levels.
Are you listening, all you big brands out there? Call Resortecs.
It helps to dismantle goods and then to remanufacture them or to upcycle them. It also helps delabeling. We can make delabeling as cheap as incineration. So if you pay today 70 euros per ton to burn your garments, you would pay the double to delabel it. With Resortecs threads, which on your cash flow would just remain the same budget.
Exactly. Now you're wearing some of the fruits of your labors today, right? Can you explain what you've got going on here? I love the socks. Are those banana socks?
Yeah, banana socks.
You can't see them. They're really great.
I'm wearing, a jacket that is made with a thread, but the most important thing is this denim.
Beautiful denim.
It's a pair of trousers we made with Unspun that is also here today.
Unspun?
Unspun, yeah, Unspun denim. It's a Hong Kong, San Francisco-based company that makes custom-made, on-demand, digitally fit denims. And now they are completely recyclable and reusable thanks to our thread.
So whenever we're done wearing them, we can give them to Resortecs and they'll be
we will take them apart and send them back to Unspun to make new ones. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's great.
And I think there is a video or a GIF about this, the thread. Yes.
Ah.
So there you see the thread disappearing under the heat. That is what it's doing, this denim, if you would heat it up to 200 degrees Celsius.
That's very cool. Wow. Baking it into submission, basically.
Yes. And the same is applicable with shoes.
So yeah, show us what you got here. You got the shoes.
Yep. And then jackets and
then the yarn.
And this is the thread. It's one of the threads that we have. It's a big bobbin now because it comes from the manufacturer of the threads.
But this is thread that's made out of
nylon, bio-based nylon.
Bio-based nylon. So it
dissolves when you heat it up. Yeah.
Very interesting. Now, Olivier, your company is young too. Only 3 years old?
Yes, we started in 2017.
And how did you come up with this idea of recycling leather?
Having living in Asia for 15 years, manufacturing leather goods for many brands.
Brands we know?
Of course, but I will not tell you the name. Importing the leather from Spain, Italy, all over the planet, and manufacturing in Asia. I found out there's so many waste. I was passing by the Guangzhou market, and you can see mountains of leather waste.
Wow.
And like many stories, you know, it's coming with a meeting. So I meet my partner, who was working in the printing industry. At this time, they were thinking to make a cover for the notebooks because they saw that it's mainly plastic. So this is where the idea came first. And when we met, we have worked to make a very luxury, sustainable grain finishing. This is how it starts. So everything starts from these garden gloves. Everybody knows.
The cheap ones you get at Home Depot and...
It's everywhere, you know.
Monsieur Bricolage.
Yeah, Leroy Merlin, Walmart, whatever. And it's...
€5 a pair?
€2.
€2 a pair.
€2, yeah. So it's the cheapest one. And we just take the cheap leather, the offcuts, which is crust. The crust is the cheapest part of the leather.
Right.
You have first the top grain for the luxury, the middle layer, when you can put plastic again to make split leather, and you have the crust, which is the cheapest one. The cheapest one make our happiness because there is less chrome.
And chrome tanning is how chrome is used in tanning to finish the leather.
To make all the finishing, you know, and the coloring.
Though that's changing because it's incredibly polluting.
It's polluting, yeah, exactly. So our idea is taking the waste, all the waste, crushing in a powder, and binding with a natural latex from Thailand to get a new material. And on top of this material, we print a luxury grain.
More
here we are.
Beautiful.
This is a lizard finishing looking. So this is what we do. We turn leather waste into fabulous goods.
That's excellent. Now, you talked about how do you get the color and the coating? Your coating is, you said it's from a natural latex from Thailand.
Yes, so the coating is like a press. It's like a print, you know. We have a mold, and it's like a printing press paper, you know. And to get the finishing, it's PU for sure. It's 10%, but with water base. There is no solvent on the top. So you have 60% leather waste, 30% latex, natural, EVA, you know, the tree from Thailand, and you have the 10% for the coloring, which water-based solution, which is also a good one.
Yes. Now, for the moment, you're doing this mainly in China, correct?
Yes, why not? Everything starts in China, you know. We have all our goods from China.
Civilization started in China.
And I used to live many years there, you know, manufacturing for brands.
Right.
So China is moving fast also, you know, in sustainability. You have to consider a city like Shenzhen now.
Yes.
It's full of electric cars.
That's so interesting.
It's really going fast. So
well, they did just build a hospital in 6 days.
This is in Wuhan, different place. But anyway, you know, those things. We are in a worldwide planet, the sustainability solution is not only in France, around the corner, it's worldwide.
Right.
So the garden gloves factory are located all over in Asia, no more in Europe.
That's interesting.
So we take the waste from there.
So in China, and then where else are they?
We are only in China, and we have decided to not ship out our material all over Europe.
Right.
We want to show that you have to manufacture where you recycle.
Right.
And total in the world, you have...
And then where the material is then being turned into something else.
Exactly, exactly. And in the world, you have total 800,000 tons of leather waste.
800,000? 800,000?
Worldwide.
Wow.
This is United Nations numbers. And you have over 200,000 tons in Europe.
Right.
So we don't want to ship, even it's a nice material, going back to Europe.
No.
We have to recycle our waste in Europe. We have to recycle the waste in Brazil, India, China, in each continent.
Sur place, at its place.
We don't need to bring the Italian leather all over the planet, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Right now you have some plastic containers shipped from France to Malaysia, returned back.
That's great.
It's a crazy world.
It's a crazy world. We like globalization, but to a point. We need localization within globalization.
Exactly.
So you're in China now, but you feel like in the future, when you all scale up, you'll be able to open centers in other places.
Europe. Why not Europe, you know? So for me, I'm based in France for all the marketing and developments to open the sales to different industry, fashion industry. It can be the interior design tomorrow, luxury packaging, you know, different industry. But we have made a small label in France to make very nice goods, you know, to in the fashion industry. So we joined with some small brands in a lab in Paris. We are a very small team, you know. It's called No Yoko. This is what I wear. This is the sustainable fabrics they do. And I wear also the shoes. My sneaker is with car tire recycle.
Fantastic.
So we join all together, you know.
Yes.
To have strong vibes.
And you both have booths here, so we can come see what you're doing today.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Great. Now, we know about your two brands. Let's talk about the bigger picture. How important is all of this, you know, in the circularity in the bigger picture? And is this the solution, taking our waste now and recycling it? This is what you all are doing. This is the future, correct?
Yeah, and I think that there are many ways of doing it. And we also have to think already a step in advance to see if we take decisions today that they will not end up in something worse afterwards. So everything which is resale as well, we have to watch out that we don't send too much to third world countries. Because the impact there can be sometimes worse than incinerating in Europe. So we have to watch out what we do, and we have to use technologies that enable us to do a lot of multiple things so that we can shift easily while learning, because it's a learning process.
Do you have brands calling you all?
Well, most of them. Many luxury brands. You know, we are in two ways, you know. The way is be responsible of your waste. You can manufacture luxury bags, luxury good. You have some offcuts. You have some waste. Now the young generation, they want to know, what do you do with your waste? You can't pay to go to the landfill anymore.
No.
You need to find some solution to use the waste. There is many guys like friends now, you know, they do plant-based products like the Pineatex with pineapple leaves, the fumat with the apple skin.
Yeah.
Fumat is great. And you have these young Sicilian girls with the orange peel.
Yes.
They are doing silk,
orange
fiber, you know.
They worked with Ferragamo.
So that's fantastic, you know. That's new solution, new ideas, you know, with the waste.
These are all items that I spotlight in my book.
Really?
And the movement towards vegetable-based or natural fibers.
And Dana, now you have cactus.
Cactus.
From Mexico.
Fantastic. And there's pineapple from
Philippines.
From the Philippines and from Brazil, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great. Now, how hard will it be, do you think, to get business to integrate these circularity measures? You say they're calling you. You don't have to go knocking on their doors, do you?
It's very hard. It's very hard to say no. You know, we decide to not ship out our material outside China to insist on the local production.
Right.
We don't want to ship to Portugal, Italy, whatever, you know, for brands to communicate.
Right.
We want to insist that we have to be transparent, do locally.
Right.
Locally is not only in France, it's in the world.
Yeah, it's
you know?
pockets of local.
Exactly.
I sort of say like it's like a patchwork quilt, where each square is its own thing, but when you sew it together, you have a big piece.
It's worldwide. So we need to go slowly with our value.
Yeah.
This is the way we want to do.
And do you see the same thing? You're based in Brussels.
Yeah, we are based in Brussels.
And you're doing the baking in Brussels.
We don't do the baking yet. Well, we're preparing the baking in Brussels. Yeah.
But will you take it to other places too?
The idea is to have the dismantling line close to a sorting center. So we're now looking around where we could potentially put this thing.
Wherever the waste is, you can bake it.
Yeah, and where the expertise is of sorting afterwards the dismantled pieces. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for coming.